So in all of my time having this channel, I never actually ranked all the Avatar seasons. Let's do that right now. Hey all, welcome to my channel. My name is Antoine Bandele. I do geeky videos and other type of stuff, most of it being Avatar. Today, we're gonna talk about what my favorite seasons of Avatar are, or not really my favorite seasons, but the ranking. So it's also my least favorite and my most favorite. Starting with... So yeah, probably no surprise to most Avatar fans. My least favorite, my least visited season is Legend of Korra Book 2. Now, I do try to preface that the reason I personally feel that this season was so weak is because the creators never actually expected to go past one season, one series of Korra. They thought it was going to be season 1 with Amon, and that was it. But then as they realized that they were going to get more, I feel like this season got kind of rushed. But I mostly don't really dislike it for most of the reasons people do. The one thing I do really don't like is the romance, like that love triangle thing going on, and also kind of like the teen angst that was going on. But a lot of people do have an issue with the big, cosmic energy stuff, the rebranding of, what it meant to be the original Avatar and all that. And that's actually probably my favorite bits, actually. Like the beginnings episode with Avatar 1, I think were brilliant. I never had an issue with the fact that the origins of the Benders wasn't just from, the original Benders, like the dragons and the badger moles and all that. That never really fazed me that much. I do have a slight issue with power scaling in terms of some of that stuff, but then you kind of have to, be okay with that because it's harmonic convergence. This stuff is going to happen. Next up, we have Legend of Korra Book 4. Now, this one isn't really in my didn't quite like it category. From this point on, for the rest of my list, these are all solid seasons that are just more preference. The reason this one is so low on my list comes off the back of Kuvira and kind of how she manifested. I was really disappointed with the ending of that arc with Kuvira and how she kind of just kind of gave in at the end, and I feel like she should have kind of held to her guns in being the villain character of that season, and I didn't really feel like the way that she had the remorse at the end really felt justified from what we've seen from her before. She was very steadfast and very gung-ho the whole time of the series, and then she kind of just flipped it. But other than that, I actually really enjoyed the series. Like the season 4, I thought was actually one of the stronger books in Korra. I really enjoyed the fights. The fights were super dope. I really didn't have an issue with the big mecha tank thing going on in the kaiju beams and destroying Republic City. I was cool with all that stuff. And then after that, we have Last Airbender Book 1. The reason I have it here, again, like I said, from this point on, these are all just preferences. This isn't me ever saying that these are bad series or anything like that. But really, I just don't visit Book 1 that often, or at least I don't look back to it with fondness. I don't say, oh, I really want to go back and watch Book 1 of The Last Airbender. It's mostly I watch it, for the foundation of watching the rest of the series. But if I'm just choosing, which season I'm going to pick up right now, Book 1 probably wouldn't be it. Again, not bad at all. You get some great establishment. You get this great character in Aang. You get these great side characters and even some good single episodes throughout. Like for instance, I'm really a big fan of the Jet episode and kind of the moral dynamic that kind of comes up with war and how both sides play, kind of evil. But I do think things like, for instance, Katara mastering her waterbending so quickly is something I have gripes with. The ending romance between Sokka and Yue. I think romance in general across the entire series, whether it's Airbender or Korra, romance is not one of their strong suits, and I don't think it was done very well in that first book. But solid season. You can't go wrong with Airbender Book 1. Next up, I have Legend of Korra Book 1. Now, initially, while watching it week to week, I thought this was going to be my favorite series ever until, kind of the reveal of Amon being a bloodbender. I thought it was way cool if he really was just like a straight up chi blocker. It was fascinating how he dealt with the equalist system, and then just seeing, when he was facing his brother and not being able to be stopped by bloodbending, that moment, hit real hard for me watching that show. But the ending, I feel like, and again, it's because I think they were trying to course correct to make this a a longer going series when they got the green light that they were going to continue, versus it being a self-contained sort of a thing. So I feel like the ending, it didn't land so well for me, but I really enjoy a lot of the establishments. I really like Korra as a character. Most people have issues with her because she's basically anti-Aang, but that's kind of the reason why I love her. It's because she is very flawed, and her character growth is a lot different than what we've seen from Aang. And also just the vibe of Republic City, where bending has come. I do have slight issues with some of the stuff, like lightning bending is way too ubiquitous. Everybody seems to be able to do all these unique bending abilities, when it seemed like it was, took more training and more insight to be able to do that. But other than that, like the overall package of it, except for the ending beats that fell apart for me, great season. Now for these next three, these are all almost on par for me. These are all great seasons. I have no issue if someone's like, let's sit down, let's watch this all the way through. I would do it. First up though, I have Legend of Korra Book 3, which is really high up there for me. Like, I was surprised, especially after coming off of Book 2, Legend of Korra, I was surprised how much I enjoyed this and how much I really was deeply invested, how much I was actually okay with the airbenders coming back. Because I remember initially at the beginning of the season being like, really, you're bringing airbenders back based off harmonic conversion? That seems like it seemed like an easy play card to be like, oh, we want to bring back airbenders so they can be in the series, instead of, building out the airbenders bit by bit through Tenzin and his family. But whatever. Getting through that, seeing what Zahir was doing, getting introduced to Zahir in the Red Lotus, like, overall, great. And that ending, and this is the reason why I love Korra so much, is because she is a dog who will keep fighting until you really put her down. And the fact that she went through as much as she did at the end and was disabled at the end of the season, that's incredible to me. And then the catharsis and the feelings that I got from that last episode, it gets me every time. Even thinking about it right now, I'm like thinking about getting emotional. But that it's a solid season. It's the best versions of Avatar in terms of theme, in terms of action, in terms of storytelling and pacing. I think it challenging ideologies and things like that. I think it does it very, very well. And next up, we have The Last Airbender Book 2. So obviously you guys know what my top pick is. I guess I'll talk that in the same. So that obviously it means Book 2 is my second, and then Book 3 is my first. Now the big reason for this for me is that Book 2, while great, you can't deny it. Like, you have episodes like the Guru, which I love. You have Zuko alone. You have all this development with Zuko, so great. And then you have, the big finale with the Crossroads of Destiny, the big Zuko betrayal. A lot of great stuff happens here. Oh, you get introduced to Toph and her sassiness. All of that's great. It really, really is. I can't deny it. If anyone puts their Book 2 on top, I don't, no arguments for me. But for me, Book 3 hits on all cylinders. And I also feel like it's when the story is most comfortable just being with the characters. Now, to be fair, there are a lot of filler episodes in that season, but for me, they didn't feel like filler because you're just getting more insight about who these characters are, what they mean to each other, and just seeing what this finale, why it's important that they're fighting for each other. And I think that's a mark of a great show, if I can enjoy filler, if I can actually be on board with the characters. And for me, there's so many good episodes across the board in Book 3. I think huge things like the beach, for instance. You have the finale, the 4-part finale. You have other ones, like even the headband, or the episode when Aang was freaking out about facing Ozai, and they were all trying to help him, kind of like, hey, calm down, it's okay, you'll be all right, we're here for you. Like, all that little stuff build up to be like this great season. I think it's the perfect season of Avatar for me. Like, I almost wouldn't change anything of it. And the Boiling Rock. The Boiling Rock is such a fun episode. All right, sorry. There's just so much about Book 3 if I actually look at all the episode lists. 'Cause I was doing that, before doing this video, I was looking at the episode list. I'm like, I love that one. I love that one. I love that one. Oh my God, I love that one. That one's incredible. So, Avatar, it's a good show. You should watch it. It's on Netflix right now at the time of this recording. Who knows if it's going to be off in the future. But that's kind of the reason why I've been doing a lot more Avatar videos, is because there's been a lot more fervor in the fandom, and there's a lot more new fans. So I was like, oh hey, I haven't actually ranked all the seasons before, so I probably should do that. But that's it. As always, let me know in the comments below what you think. What are your favorite seasons of Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra? Let me know, of course, in the comments below. And as always, peace, love, and remember, be water, my friends.